Where are all my dragon souls at? Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. Thank you for joining me again here on this channel. So today I felt really inspired to create a video all about dragons. There is so many different realms and versions of dragons that people encounter doing this work, connecting with spirit and your spirit guides and traversing the astral realms. And there's just so many different versions and kinds of dragons. I certainly can't cover them all in one video, but I want to cover the four main kinds that I have encountered personally. So if you are a dragon lover, a dragon soul, you are going to love this video. You're going to love this content. Before we jump in, I want to remind you to please like this video if you like it, share it, comment, but most of all, make sure that you are subscribed for new videos every single Sunday. The thing about dragon souls is I feel like they are so fiercely loyal and proud of that part of their soul DNA or their soul heritage. I've never met somebody that didn't have a dragon guide or a dragon lifetime that wasn't so proud of that. They really just delight people. And if you're a dragon soul, you're a fierce dragon soul. You're either all in or you're not in at all, kind of with this topic. And I've really seen that in people that I've worked with. It's like if they have a dragon lifetime, they're already saying, oh, I already knew. Oh, I'm obsessed with dragons. So I already have been communicating with them or working with them. It's kind of something that it's a big energy. It's a really big energy to be connected with dragons at all. It's huge. And you can really feel that in someone. So the four different, kinds of dragons or realms of dragons that I was going to talk with you about today would be the first one being the Draconians from the Draco constellation, the second one being the elemental dragons, which would be the Avalon, Fey realms kind of dragons. The third would be the crystalline dragons in the higher dimensions, the crystalline beings. And then, of course, at the very top would be the etheric kinds of dragons, the non-physical. And by the way, if you want to know if you've had a dragon lifetime, then you're going to want to book an Akashic reading with me where we can ask your guides that. We can literally ask your Akashic gatekeeper if you've ever had a lifetime as a dragon, what kind of dragon it was, what happened in that lifetime, what your lessons were, how it's still affecting you. So if you're not sure, or even if you are sure and you just want more information about that, then definitely book a session with me for the Akashic readings. Okay, let's start with the Draconians. So I would say this is all very rough because frequencies really blend together more than we think that they do. But if I was to say, roughly, I would say this is third and fourth dimensional frequency of the Draconian dragons. They're not a very high frequency. These would be very instinctual, almost animal-like, really, where they're working off of their instincts more than they are problem solving in their mind so much. They're instinctual. They do before they think, they act. And the thing about that is they are in a state of fight. When some people say fight or flight in that state of your nervous system, they're just in the fight state. They're very fierce. They're very protective. They're very much in that fight state a lot of the time. I actually have never really seen a lot of the dragon beings leaving the Draco constellation because they are so protective of what is theirs. So if they have a piece of land that is theirs, then they have probably been amassing maybe food or what they would consider their version of treasure. They're very protective and they're very connected to their home, their cave, their space, whatever it is. So you're not really going to see them wanting to go too far away from that. And so I wrote down fierce, protective, in a state of fight. There's not really any peacefulness within the ones in the Draco constellation. There's not really any of that problem solving, that consciousness or thinking, and they're very fiery. That doesn't mean that they all breathe fire, although I think I've pretty much seen them in the Draco constellation. I always see that they do. So I've seen a lot of fire breathing, very feisty, fiery, hot, angry, fight kind of dragons there. However, I don't see those ones like on Earth, like we see a lot of draconian beings here on Earth causing problems. I have not seen that of the dragon style beings, because there's more than one kind of reptilian in the Draco constellation, and the dragon beings tend to be the rulers of that constellation. They are like the kings of the Draconian constellation due to their sheer size and their ability to instill fear and violence, and the way that they claim their space or their land. They kind of like own things up there. And so they tend to stay there. So if you've ever, I think I might actually have, this is random thought, but I think that I have a slide, a carousel on Instagram all about the different reptilians on the Draco constellation. And I think I covered the dragon beings in that. So if you want to go deep diving into my Instagram and find that, please share the link with everyone. Okay, let's move on. So that's the Draconians. Let's move on to the elemental. So the elementals, again, this is super rough, but like 5th to 7th dimensional frequency, 5, 6, and 7. So this is like that Avalon. Avalon, like the Fey realms, the Fey, the fairies, the unicorns, the elven beings, the witches, the wizards, that medieval feeling in that time on Earth. That's where the dragons were. Now, I believe that the Avalon or the Fey realms still exist here on Earth. It's just in a higher dimensional frequency than we can connect with. But I believe that the realities here on Earth are layered like a cake. And the higher the frequency we get, the more access we have to these other dimensions. I believe that the Avalon reality still exists here. And I know a lot of people believe that it died. I still feel like it's alive and well. So they would be in that style of realm. Now, there are other elemental realms. Okay, Avalon is not the only one. So for instance, the unicorns, yes, they were part of Avalon, but they have their whole own unicorn kingdom. I would assume that there are elemental planets out there that are just for the dragons. In fact, I just saw that in my mind's eye as I said that, like a beautiful planet of greenery and like really tall, like mountains and caves and forests, and a place where they would feel the most at home. Avalon is almost like a mismatch, like a mashed together society of all kinds of different magical beings, yet those beings also have their own home worlds, if that makes sense. But we'll just say elemental, and we'll cover all of those kinds of worlds. So basically you would still see, like in the Draconians, that they would still be fairly instinctual and almost animal-like. But here in this elemental realm, they're not stuck in fight or flight. They have more of an ability to think calmly. So they're out of fight or flight. They're able to think more calmly. And because of that, they develop more of like personalities, which is really interesting. So some of the personality traits that I've seen when doing readings for people are a lot of humor, that they think things are really funny. They love to get into trouble. They love to cause a stir. That they can be very particular about their food. Like they, in one reading that I was looking at, they kind of like looked at something that was moving because they were hungry and saw that it was something like that they didn't prefer. And they were kind of like, blah. And then they look for something else like funny and like humorous and particular about what they would want to eat. Even particular about their treasure, like their refined taste and what they consider. All dragons love treasure. So there you go. So the personality traits being the funniness, that they love to play, that they love to fly, and that gives them a feeling of that freedom frequency. And it's very important to them. That they're able to have that freedom. Okay. And then also, because they're out of fight or flight and they're able to think calmly, then collaboration can come in. I think that this is very rare, but there are the rare cases of the dragon riders where the dragons that are able to manage communication, calm, collected consciousness, are able to collaborate with humans or maybe other beings as well to be a team, where they are the dragon and they have a rider, and then they have particular missions that they work on together. Okay, and then there are different species of dragons. Obviously, there's so many different kinds of dragons, and they all have different personalities, obviously. But the similarities here in the elemental realm is that the similarities in all the realms is that they're always protectors. And they love treasure. But the personalities here in the elemental realms is more like, it reminds me of, I mean this in the highest regard, it reminds me of like a really smart dog in a way, like where they're extremely intelligent, funny, can get grumpy. Like I have a whole range of personality like that, and that they can also bond so strongly with humans. And then in the elemental realms as well, we're adding in magic elements. So many of those dragons would actually have magical capabilities, which is, I mean, there's a lot of different ones, like opening portals, freezing time, stopping time, rewinding time. Not a lot. They would never be given too much of that because that would interfere with the timeline, but they would be able to do a small amount of that, some of them. What other kinds of gifts would dragons have? Like, some of them would be able to like transmute things to gold or to treasure. There was probably healing dragons. Like, I think that there would be probably quite a lot of different magical properties depending on the dragon. And it doesn't mean that they all have that, but some of them definitely would. Okay, we'll move on to the second one now, which is the crystalline dragons, roughly 8th to 10th dimensional frequency. I wrote down tinkling scales. This is because I did a reading once for somebody that had a crystalline dragon as a guide on their team. And every time I was tuning in and really, really deeply connecting with this being as I was doing this person's reading. So that means that I'm seeing, hearing, feeling like it's like I'm there with the being. And when every time the dragon got up and moved, its scales would tinkle like little like diamonds. Every way that they moved, it was like like, I don't know, it was just really, really cool. And for some reason that really stood out to me as being just like, it stuck with me for years now. So tinkling scales, they're literally crystalline, made of crystal. These are extremely ancient souls. Okay, this is a soul that has, really ascended into a higher realm and brought with them so much deep wisdom, very ancient souls. Like I wrote down, a sage, somebody who's respected for their guidance and wisdom and their thoughts, revered, even respected and revered, and even sometimes prophetic, where people might go to them for, okay, like they have a vision to them. Okay, can you tell us what this timeline is going to turn into? Do we need to shift? Like, what's going on? Like, can be even very prophetic. These are creator beings, magicians, manifestors, protectors, always. And these, speaking of protectors, these would be guides to souls with big missions, right? If you have yourself a crystalline dragon on your team, and I do think that that's maybe fairly rare. I haven't seen a whole lot of them. It is with somebody with a really big mission, right? They are there to not only protect you, as all dragons are, but to really infuse you with that crystalline energy that you could turn to them with any questions when you feel lost, when you feel like your frequency has dipped. Like, they are like just like, oh, like just such a beautiful energy, this ancient sage, prophetic, wise soul. So just beyond, right? Just so amazing. So that's the crystalline dragons. Okay, so let's move into the etheric dragons. So this would be like 11th dimensional and up, however high they go. There's the possibility of an etheric dragon being anywhere above that. So this could be, not all of them are, but some of them could be ascended masters. That's 11th dimension. Some of them could be angelic. So ascended masters are not always humans. They can absolutely be animals or beings like a dragon or a unicorn or, I don't know, a Lyran being. Like, the Arcturian, it's not just humans. And I know that a lot of people maybe don't realize that, but a etheric dragon, and etheric means non-physical. They're made of ether. They're made of energy. They're made of light. They're non-physical. Okay. So these are non-physical, beautiful dragon souls that are now either at the ascended master realm or even the angelic realm. Again, angels are not always humanoid. The highest angels of all are the seraphim. They're not humanoid at all. They're like orbs of light with crazy wings on them. And so dragons could be in any of these realms. If they're etheric, they're non-physical. So this means that they are really into the frequency and the energy of oneness. Of course, when we get into these higher realms, they are all about oneness, balance. The yin and the yang together make one whole. They are like the ultimate creator beings. You might even see these higher etheric beings actually creating planets, actually creating, like celestial bodies, like stars and planets, and maybe even more, maybe even like different life forms. And they also carry that frequency of freedom. They also carry that frequency of protection. If you have an astral dragon on your team, you have a very big mission. Like, that's a big deal to have an astral dragon of light or ether protecting you. Like, time to check in what your mission is. Like, let's have a soul gifts reading together, because something's big is there for you to step into, right? Okay, they're into that frequency of freedom, that oneness. And a dragon, so now let's, like, the similarities between all of these, the Draconian, the Elemental, the Crystalline, the Etheric. A dragon is a dragon, which by that I mean a dragon will often prefer its own form, and carry it throughout the ascension of the dimensional realms, which means even though they are an etheric non-physical being and could appear as anything that they choose, they will still choose to appear as a dragon, because they are very proud. They have a lot of pride to them, right? They're that very proud and fierce protector. They are remember when I said at the very beginning of the reading, like, if you have a dragon lifetime, you're very proud of that. Like, I've seen that in people, there's a pride to it. Well, that's where I'm seeing it as well. It's not a bad thing. It's beautiful. There is this pride to them where they, even when they are suddenly in a highest non-physical realm, they still choose to show up or represent themselves as a dragon. So you would be able to see with your third eye, that's still that same form of that dragon made out of energies. So, and I just feel like in all of these forms, in all of these realms, in all of these dimensions, that dragons really are sacred. We really can feel that these are very old and ancient sacred beings. A lot of people say that the reptilians were the first here on Earth, because it's the dragon, it's the time of the dragon on Earth, or sorry, it's the time of the dinosaur, I mean. So during the dinosaur prehistoric ages, many people believe that that is where a lot of the dragons started, right? And reptilians and stuff like that. So just to say they're really old. They're old as fuck. They are ancient. They are sacred. They are really in it when they're in it. Like, they are doing their lifetimes, the whole soul cycle. They're down in the dark ages and the depths of it, and they rise up victorious, and then they do it all again. Like, I know you guys have heard me talk about this a million times, that soul cycle where you continue to go from the light and you descend down into your shadows, and then you rise back up again victorious. And that can take hundreds, maybe thousands of years of different lifetimes to do a whole cycle. They are well-versed, well-practiced, got the battle scars, and proud of it. Ancient wise souls with so much to offer, so much to offer. So let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you have a dragon guide. What are they like? Are they fiery and fierce? Are they all about oneness and peace? Are they crystalline or etheric, or that physical elemental dragon of that magical time of Avalon? There's so many that could be connecting with you, and the colors all mean something too, right? The green dragons are very earthy. I don't actually know what all of the different colors mean, but I know that the different species have really strong different characteristics. Like, the green ones tend to be a little more gentle and a little more healing. The black ones tend to be quite aggressive, and the red ones tend to be very fiery. And I don't know of all the different colors, but take note, if you do have a guide, what color they might be. And if you can get a name, and if you can, communicate with them about why they're assigned to you, like, why are they your guide? There's a reason, right? There's always a reason. Is it because they know you from another lifetime when maybe you were a dragon? Is it because they are a protector for somebody like you that might have a big mission? Or are they your healer, right? There's feminine and there's masculine, there's protectors and there's healers, and it's just so beautiful. So it's a huge topic to cover, but I really hope that this video struck a chord with you. I know that it's something that I find very, very mystical, beautiful, and I'm always very intrigued by this kind of by the dragons in all forms. So anyway, thank you so much for sticking around. I want to remind you to subscribe for new videos on this channel every week. I also want to just let you know quickly that inside the Starseed Academy membership, we actually did an event where it was Meet Your Dragon, where I took everybody on this beautiful guided experience to meet their own dragon guide. We've also done a Sacred Dragon Keys event. We've done unicorn events. We've done fairy events. We've done a lot of elemental style events. There's a lot more in there than you realize. And it is such an incredible place to find your soul family, find your community, and do these really exciting events twice a month, which is so much fun. Okay, so the links to the membership are in the description below. Also, if you are wanting to book a session with me to find out more about your dragon lifetimes, do an Akashic readings. If you want to know more about your dragon guides, do a Meet Your Guides reading. If you think that you might have a really big mission and you're not sure what it is, do a soul gifts reading. Okay. And that's all I have to say. So thank you so much. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. Thank you so much, beautiful starseeds. Have a great day. Bye.